And first at 6, the search continues in one low country town after dozens of primates escaped from a research facility Wednesday.
The Beaufort County Sheriff's Office says 43 rhesus macaque escaped from the Alpha Genesis facility in Yemassee Wednesday afternoon. Police tell News 4 the primates were last seen towards the back of the facility, but they escaped. Their exact whereabouts are still unknown.
Sedacia Smalls has been following this ongoing story and joins us live with the latest. Sid?
Yeah, Tessa, Katie, as of now, all 43 primates remain on the loose. However, town officials say they don't expect them to travel too far, and the primates are not considered aggressive.
Getting hungry, so maybe on the lookout for some food, but they're non-violent in nature.
Cautious concerns in the town of Yemassee. It's been more than 24 hours since 43 female rhesus macaque got loose from the Alpha Genesis research facility along Castle Hall Road. We're told the primates are relatively small, between 4 and 6 pounds, and we're told they are disease-free.
It was identified that an employee that's new to the company had inadvertently left one of the doors unsecured to the enclosure.
Since then, the ongoing search has included traps and even thermal imaging. A team effort in the operation continues between Yemassee Police, Beaufort County deputies, firefighters, state wildlife crews, along with employees of Alpha Genesis.
They're very inquisitive in nature. They're small, they're skittish. And that's why we're kind of emphasizing to people to, make sure your windows and doors are closed.
Anyone living nearby is asked to avoid contact and immediately call law enforcement if you spot the primates. Despite the escape and the chance to travel beyond the area, the rhesus macaque are expected to remain in a group and close to the facility they left. But interest about the strange escape has piqued interest from all over.
We've heard from international outlets and from all across this country as well.
Yemassee's town administrator Matthew Garn says the town has a great working relationship with Alpha Genesis and is looking for a good ending to the search.
I think that the care that they get there is definitely stellar. I know they're not used to being out in the wild and where they are now, and so I know that if they're able to get back there, they'll be fed, they'll be warm.
Now, we're told this isn't the first time primates have escaped from the Alpha Genesis. The last time was a few years ago, and the escapees were brought back safely in less than a day. Working for you, Sedacia Smalls, News 4.
So last night we were informed by representatives from Alpha Genesis that they had an escape of approximately 43 monkeys, and at this point, none have been captured. We want to ensure that the community is aware that there is no public health risk associated with these animals. Despite the work they do there, these animals are not infected with anything. They're healthy. They're skittish in nature. We were informed that they're all females, so they'll typically congregate in a large group. Do not shoot the monkeys, do not try to trap the monkey as a pet. We've seen posts on Facebook already, people wanting to try to take a monkey as a pet. Do not do that. It's a federal crime.
We are zeroing in on things that might change under a new Trump administration. The former president has promised to reinstate a ban on military service for transgender people and to block transition-related care for minors nationwide.
But what does this anti-LGBTQ rhetoric practically mean for a second Trump term? Joining us now, NBC News correspondent Stephen Romo. So, Stephen, what are you hearing from voters about a second Trump presidency?
Yeah, Kate and Clay, there's a lot of fear in many of the LGBTQ plus community, particularly about trans rights when it comes to the former president. Advocacy groups like the Human Rights Campaign posting today, "We are brokenhearted, but we are not broken," along with a list of different resources, including mental health resources for the community. The Trevor Project posting something very similar toward trans young people, saying your life matters, a nod to LGBTQ plus young people who are more than 4 times likely to commit suicide than their peers. There's a real sense that the progress that's been made over the past few years could be rolled back. Here's more of what some voters had to say.
I have a lot of friends and family that are, women, LGBTQ, so I fear for them. I think our country just got a lot less safe for them. And so, I don't know. Not the country I thought it was.
Also hearing from voters bringing up a Project 2025, which you'll remember promotes traditional American family. Trump has distanced himself from that, though there are many links between that effort and his campaign. Guys.
Stephen, President-elect Trump's campaign ran ads with messaging around transgender issues. There's one that it was all over the place with the tagline, "Harris is for they, them." I wonder whether people in the LGBTQ community and others that you're talking to worry that things are really going to change under, just tonally, under a new Trump administration.
Certainly, and one thing that I'm hearing from voters is the fall of Roe versus Wade. They bring that up. The Obergefell decision, which happened in 2015, which legalized gay marriage, also based on the right to privacy, which is how Roe versus Wade ended up falling. They're bringing that up as something that they're seeing. Again, with Project 2025, mentioning a traditional American value, something that many people are talking about. And President Trump himself mentioning the boys and girls sports. He's said that many times, talked about parents sending their kids to school, falsely claiming that they come home having received gender-affirming care, something that has not happened, but of course causing a lot of alarm and causing a lot of focus on this community, which is already in a lot of fear for how things are going to impact moving forward. One thing of hope I have heard from some of these voters is knowing that the president can't do anything on their own, that there are legislators that people plan to call and write to try to share what they hope gets done in our country.
Yeah. Stephen Romo, thank you.
Now let's turn to the Middle East, because the Israeli military says it's preparing to immediately deploy a rescue mission to the Netherlands after violence broke out following a Europa League match between Maccabi Tel Aviv and Ajax Amsterdam. Israel said that Israeli supporters were attacked in a very violent incident as they left the ground. 10 people are reported injured. Well, following Israel's demand to take swift and vigorous action, the Dutch Prime Minister called the violence targeting Israeli citizens surrounding a soccer match in Amsterdam as unacceptable, adding that all perpetrators must be prosecuted. So let's cross over to Jerusalem to speak to our correspondent there, Joe Inwood. So Joe, just talk us through what's happening here.
So this was a match, as you say, between Maccabi Tel Aviv and Ajax last night in the Europa League. And it seems that there were scenes of real violence that took place after the match. As ever with these things on social media, you need to be a little careful, but it's quite clear that there were people who were beaten. I've seen videos of one man who was beaten unconscious, somebody hiding in a doorway. There's even another video, and again, I should say all of these we need to be a little careful on, but of somebody who is in a canal being told to say, "Free Palestine." And these scenes have been condemned not just by the Israeli government, but also by the Dutch government, described as horrific anti-Semitic events. The president here, Israel Herzog, Isaac Herzog, I should say, said that they were a pogrom, a reference to the anti-Semitic massacres that took place in Europe in the 19th, 20th century. So incredibly strong words. We should also say that there have been videos, again, I've seen multiple videos of the same event, so we're pretty sure that these are accurate, of people chanting anti-Palestinian slogans and pulling down Palestinian flags. So we are having various claims made, but what we can say is that these events were clearly about more than just football rivalry.
And Joe, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but I can say that the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has also condemned what has happened, and he's described them as anti-Semitic attacks on those Israeli football fans in Amsterdam. What kind of reaction across Israel to this?
Yeah, if you read the papers here as well, they've reacted with real horror. A few of them have used that word I mentioned before, pogrom, a very strong phrase for what's happened. These scenes of clear violence, and that concern, I guess, is one of the reasons that the government has said it's going to move so quickly to get military planes. We've had a report from the IDF saying that the 2 Hercules planes are going to be flown over with medical supplies on them as well. There was a local correspondent who said he can't see any indication of those planes having taken off, and I think that it's being reported as well that Schiphol Airport in the Netherlands has said they haven't had any requests for planes to land yet, so we don't know the status of the flights. But clearly the Israeli government and the Dutch government as well are taking these events very seriously.
And I know you'll bring us up to date as and when we get more. Joe Inwood in Jerusalem, many thanks for that.
Crews are searching for bodies in stranded cars and sodden buildings as residents salvage what they can from ruined homes following monstrous flash floods in Spain earlier this week. At least 158 lives were lost, and the death toll could rise as search efforts continue. The tragedy is already Spain's worst flood-related disaster in modern history, and meteorologists say human-driven climate change is making such extreme weather events more frequent and destructive.
Y mi mujer y yo no queremos vivir aquí. Esto ya es un sin vivir. En cuanto queden 4 gotas, ya estás mirando móviles, ya estás... Es que no, es que lo pierdes todo al final. Y llega un momento que no... Perdón, pero es que es impotencia, Y luego el Estado, los gobiernos, es que no hacen nada. Y yo lo que no puede ser es que cada 4 años o cada 2 años esté empezando de nuevas.
Afortunada por el hecho de que estoy viva. Sé que hay mucha gente que se ha muerto. Sé que hay mucha gente que no sabe dónde está y sé el dolor que tendrá esa gente. Entonces puedo dar gracias porque estoy viva.
Están aquí dentro de los coches.
Compañeros, buenas noches, vean, les comparto. En estos momentos acá en la autopista norte con 222 aproximadamente. Estoy acá desde las 3 de la tarde, miren esta vaina. Todos estos carritos, vean ese Vitara. El de allá es un Renault Sandero, el blanco es un Volkswagen. Esto es un Mercedes C180.
Hostia, ¿qué cojones? Es que sí, ¿qué cojones es eso? Son putos ovnis, hermano.
¡Hostia puta!
¿Dónde están?
Ahí.
Ahí, sí, se ven. Al final. Estoy grabando uno. Hostia, qué puta pasada, ¿qué coño es eso? Hermano. Luego decís que no existen, hijos de la gran puta.
¿Qué?
Dios, ahí al final.
Marcus, yeah, you mentioned that severe weather in Oklahoma. Those storms and tornadoes ripping through the state landed 11 in the hospital and left tens of thousands without power. This new look at the damage this morning after those tornadoes tossed cars and ripped entire roofs off buildings in Oklahoma City and all across the state yesterday. Heavy downpours causing flash floods as shelters opened to those without power. An entire neighborhood leveled in the town of Choctaw, where first responders went door to door checking on the injured. Power Outage US reports that about 12,000 are still without power right now. Forecasters warning more severe weather may be possible today.
Mati. Mati Allah.
More than 10,000 acres of Southern California consumed by the mountain fire. The area's high winds creating a red flag blaze so aggressive there is no accurate number of damaged and destroyed structures because conditions are too unsafe for inspection teams to assess. ABC's Melissa Adan joins us now.
Juju, we're here in Ventura County. This is where the mountain fire is moving so rapid, incredibly fast. It is taking over homes. We see those flames and those embers coming over because the speed of these winds are just so powerful. But right now, there are reports of several homes that have been burned, destroyed that we're seeing. But the count right now is just the fire response, making sure that they can save all that they can of property and having these mandatory evacuations underway across Ventura County.